Good morning. The the issue of the Panama Papers is creating a problem everywhere. And I was thinking of talking about it. But today happens to be the Vimmy Ridge Day. And it would not be appropriate to ignore this most important day in the Canadian military history. Wars have never been liked, but in some battles we find extraordinary heroism, grit, and evidence of human courage. The first such battle was possibly the Battle of Thermopylae, when 600 people stopped a huge army of thousands of the people in a narrow pass in Thermopylae. Another such great battle was the charge of the Light Brigade in Crimea War, celebrated by Lord Tennyson in his poem, The Charge of the Light Brigade. Another such battle was Battle of Sargadi. The Sargai battle fought by the Sikh battalion in Afghanistan is an example by itself, where a dozen soldiers kept at bay thousands of enemies. Vimmy Ridge belongs to the same genre, the same category of wars, where human courage, human determination, and dedication and ultimate desire to win is evident. However, till 2003, this day was not celebrated. At least it was not celebrated in a very formal manner. And in 2003, the then government, Harper government, decided to make it official, because it was on this day that the fortune of the Allies in the First World War turned. All the 4 divisions of the Canadian Army with the British Infantry Division were ordered to take over the Vimy Ridge. They started on the 9th of April at 5:30 in the morning, and so precise was their advance that they covered 900 yards every 3 minutes. Now, these sort of disciplined, calculated action resulted in they were winning the first objective within 55 minutes. That is a history. That the Germans lost their first position in just 55 minutes, but ultimately the complete ridge was overtaken by the Canadian forces on the 12th of April as the night was falling. And what a great victory! But what a great loss! 4,000 Canadian soldiers died in that one battle. And that battle has remained, as I said earlier, a saga in the annals of the world military, because it ranks at par with the other battles that I have talked about. And when I talk of that and see the state of the Canadian Defence Forces today, I'm amazed. What politicians have made of this fine fighting machine. Today, the police of many countries may be better equipped than the military of Canada. Our battleships, are in sad state of affairs. Our destroyers, well, the lesser said the better. Our army still fighting with our old technologies. Air Force sadly lacking advanced jet fighters, still depending on CF-18s. Can you believe it? That today when the Russians have a fighter jet which can encircle the globe in 1 hour, we still are depending on CF-18s. F-35 that was supposed to have been brought in is lying in the cold storage. And I was amazed the other day when the Honorable Defense Minister of Canada said that he is going to start a public consultation how to improve the defense services. I fail to understand. It's good to have public consultation. But at the same time, he appointed a high-level commission. Now, when a commission is appointed, then the public consultation has no meaning. Public consultation has to be done separately, and the commission appointment should follow, not precede the consultation. Secondly, today the military is a very, very highly professionalized service. It is more technological driven and it's more scientific in outlook. It needs strategy. It needs technology. And public as a whole may not be aware of the strategic requirements or technological requirements. They can say, yes, we should have a strong army, we should have a strong air force, we should have a strong navy, but more than that, they cannot provide inputs. As far as the strategy is concerned, those inputs are either by the military strategists or historians or by the people who have been involved in enacting the appropriate strategy and implementing it, overseeing it. The second part is the technological process. The R&D labs have to be told what we expect and then their research should be oriented towards that. Or the other way around, you can piggy bank on the work being done by the other forces and do it. Now imagine what Israel has done with the Iron Dome, that all the missiles fired by the Palestinians could have no effect, they could not penetrate the Iron Dome. And that is what saved Israel from annihilation. Maybe we don't need an Iron Dome today. Maybe we don't need a defense the way it is being required by Israel or by the Western Europe. We are also lucky to have the benefit of having NORAD to protect our skies and our northern borders. We are lucky to be in an insular situation, but if you want peace, be prepared for war. We may be a peaceful country and we are a peaceful country, but we have been involved in the wars, directly or indirectly. We escaped being participants in the Korean War and in the Vietnam War. But we were involved in the Gulf War. We were involved in Afghanistan. So we cannot say no. And the way things are going now, with the specter of ISIS looming large, the fight is both across the border and inside the border. Police alone would not be able to do it. Apart from that, the international piracy and the cyber warfare are the other concerns of the army. What are we doing about that? If Pentagon couldn't protect ourselves, how shall we be able to do it? So the complete transformation of the military is required if we hope to sustain the image created by the Vimmy Ridge heroes. The Vimmy Ridge heroes had created a benchmark of valor, benchmark of courage, benchmark of manlyhood, benchmark of dogged devotion to the ideals. And that benchmark, if that has to be sustained, if not crossed, then it's imperative that we change and shift our attention from being also ran to be the leader. Canada cannot afford to have the army the way US has, China has, India has, Pakistan has. It cannot. But it can have a definitely superior army as far as the technology is concerned. And unfortunately, despite our inherent strengths in knowledge, we should permit and sustain the armed forces, we are lagging behind. When OEC said that we are lagging behind in innovation, it's not only the innovation in the manufacturing sector, and manufacturing sector incidentally is closely associated with the military forces. It's innovation of our research, it's innovation of our technology. We make one can arm and we are very happy, we crow about that. But is that the end? Can arm is important, but it is not the only thing. We are associated with the development of F-35. That was an agreement. But what we were doing, just a small, tiny fraction of the whole aircraft. We need to be the creators and sustainers of the technological development so that the world looks towards us as the provider of the latest hardware. And that is where our salvation and our progress lies. The Vimmy Ridge should be a reminder to our forces and to our leaders that the sacrifice of those 10,000 people must not go waste. They must be sustained, and that is possible only by creating innovative, new technological development and enhancement of our fighting forces. Thank you.